biblical text describes them as 7 vials containing the poison of God's further wrath.
And they are similar to the trumpets. In fact, they follow pretty much sequentially the same pattern of hitting land and ocean and rivers and the air. But instead of doing about a third part damage, they do total damage.
Revelation depicts this wave of disasters as the final sweep to exterminate all those who refuse to follow God. The scenario described is gruesome. When the angels release the contents of their vials, pestilence and disease run wild. The outbreak Revelation describes is on such a magnified scale that it would dwarf the greatest pandemic crises global health organizations have ever faced.
We are in the midst of a pandemic right now. The H1N1, or the swine flu virus, is in a pandemic alert state of 6 by the WHO. This is a flu which has crossed species. When a flu is able to cross species, it not only can access far greater people who have never been exposed to it before and so don't have any immunity. We've never seen this before. So far, it still is producing mild symptoms. But if this particular flu virus undergoes the antigenic drift, it could increase in severity. It could establish greater virulence, and that would be a major public health problem.
H1N1 swine flu may strike up to 40% of Americans by 2012 and kill several 100,000. U.S. health officials hope to provide inoculations for 200 million Americans. But resistant viruses, much more potent than swine flu, could push mortality rates up into the 80th and 90th percentile, taxing health organizations beyond their ability to cope. This may mean we would be virtually defenseless against a plague of such extreme proportions. A global medical crisis could be amplified by yet another catastrophe, chronicled in Revelation, where seas become blood and the blood of animals and humans mingle. Some interpreters say this part of Revelation's prophecy suggests the world's water supply will be rendered undrinkable, possibly by the rotting, plague-ridden bodies of millions of victims. The biblical text states that other poisons follow from each vial until the world is nearly desolate. Some suggest this may already have begun, in the form of a naturally occurring process called algal bloom. Also known as red tide, it is a phenomenon that can turn water crimson. A high concentration of microscopic algae produces harmful neurotoxins that can kill fish, birds, and marine mammals. Spread globally, millions would die. Some suggest this will be the punishment for our failures as environmental stewards of the planet.
When Jesus comes, he will destroy those who destroy the earth. And I see that phrase, destroy the earth, as predictive of a global environmental crisis where humanity, through its pollution and deforestation, contributing to the destruction of the resources of the planet.
If Revelation is a blueprint of mankind's end, as many believe, billions will lie dead at the climax of the tribulation.
The book of Revelation is like